Yeah, cool. So yeah, we released it back in March now, so it's been about a month and a bit. Yeah, it's gone down really well. Like we've been releasing songs quite often as a band in the 2 years we've been kind of going, and it just felt like we needed an album to kind of take the next step, you know. So it took a lot of time, a lot of effort, but yeah, we got it, and we're really happy with the like responses and stuff. So it's been really. Very emotional. I'd say emotional. It's tough. Because I wanted to say emotional, and I was like, yeah, passionate, honest, like. But then it's kind of all means the same thing, I guess. I'll go for those three. Okay. Yeah. Like any particular song or just the album as a whole?
I think like all the albums.
Yeah, because it does. I tried my best to like aim for like an overarching theme, you know what I mean? So the album all kind of said different things, but all kind of about the same theme, I guess. So yeah, for me, I think like I'm somebody who's struggled with mental illness my whole life, and somebody who's like, luckily I've kind of been able to overcome it on my own, you know? Like I've never taken antidepressants or anything. I've only ever been to the doctors once or twice about it, but I think it's very much like, for me it's always been about finding strength inside myself. But writing music has always been a really good way of kind of like letting things off my chest. But I know that like in response to that, like when people listen to music and like relate to music and understand that they're not alone, like, that's another good way of kind of getting over like hardships, I guess. So for me, I think mental illness is a very important thing to talk about because it helps me by getting it off my chest, and it helps other people to relate to, I guess. So yeah. Sure, I think at the end of the day, I mean, you know, the world there's 8 billion people on planet Earth now, you know. So I think, you know, if I made music purely for myself, you know, I mean, that would be fine. Like lots of musicians do it, but for me, I just think, you know, I meet people at shows and I speak to people at shows, and I feel like this is bigger than just me or the band. You know what I mean? And I think it's important for us as a band to try and help speak to people in a way. And I know that kind of sounds cliche, but you know, it's important to us. Shows, yeah, that was very important to us. Like we're quite a moody band. We're quite like, you know, quite stone-faced really, but we also have like a very kind of loving, nurturing, caring side, especially in regards to our fan base. You know. So I think that video was just to kind of show people like, yeah, we might be serious and all of our photos might be black and white, right? But you know, we're not this like healthy, like rude band, you know what I mean? We do have like a connection with our fan base, and that video was the best way of showing that.
Yeah, but like after the show in Paris, you just came like with the As It Is and just like talked to everybody. It was really nice, and I really felt the connection with all the fans, and I think the video You Are Everything is really like it shows that connection.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think, yeah, like another thing I say is always like I love music, I love writing music, I love touring music, and you know, it's like if I don't know, if you work in a shop and you serve somebody coffee, like you say thanks, you know. So like if somebody comes up and buys a shirt from my band, or even watches the show, like the least I can do is just kind of give them a hug and thank them, I guess. So yeah. Yeah, actually. To be honest, I think for album one it was important to kind of be very, like you said, pure and just legit, like this is the band and this is who we are and what we could do between the 5 of us, you know. I'd love to get somebody else on a track someday now that like we've kind of taken that first step and shown everybody. I don't think it'd be anything cheesy, like I wouldn't want anything like, you know, like I wouldn't want to try and go for like some famous guy to try and like get more success or whatever. I think I just want to work with a vocalist who would better the song and give maybe something that I couldn't give, you know what I mean? So it's something that we will definitely look into, but we're not, at the same time, we're not in the biggest rush to either. So the song is kind of about like, well, the song is specifically about love and a love interest, and kind of like, it talks a lot about like kind of demons as well, like the Moonless Midnight line, for example. You know? So we kind of wanted somebody or something in the video to kind of be like a recurring kind of theme, I guess. And yeah, I mean, it's kind of, honestly, it was kind of simple. I think for a song like a Shadow, we needed quite a simple video. So I didn't want to have like too much going. Like Monochrome is a bit much. Like there's so much going on, you know. So yeah, with Like a Shadow, we kind of wanted something quite simple, but something that kind of said what it needed to say, really. So that kind of like love interest, or just a woman in general, was kind of like the light at the end of the tunnel, really. In the song. So, yeah. So there's a band called Hammock, and they're like a kind of like post-rock band. They're very like epic, very atmospheric, and they've got a song called Holding Your Absence. So this was before I even joined the band. But yeah, the boys just like the sound of Holding Absence. And we kind of wanted something that was like not like a cool sounding name either, just something that sounded like anything, you know. So like bands like, you know, there's so many like. I don't want to name any names or whatever, but there's a lot of like trends when it comes to band names, and like we just wanted to kind of go with a band name that didn't sound like any other too much, you know. I'm trying to think. There's a band called Novelists. They're like a kind of like a metal kind of band. They're cool. I'm trying to think who else. Novelists. Betray the Martyrs. Yeah. They're cool. Yeah, it's kind of weird because like I feel this about Europe a lot, but like there's quite a cultural kind of like difference, really. You know what I mean? So like because I feel like the English language and American and English people kind of dominate like Western culture, really, like between, you know, like for example, I don't think I could name you many French actors. Yeah. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, so that kind of thing is weird. But like, you know, French are very good at football. You know what I mean? So like, I can name you 100 French people. So I do think it's kind of like one of those things where like culture kind of accustoms you to.
Yeah.
You know, like France is one of the most important countries in the world in terms of like, you know, like food and like art and music as well, to be honest, you know. But like I feel like because we're in such a weird kind of pocket of the music kind of realm, it's kind of like different. So yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think who else. Yeah, no, Daft Punk are famously French. Daft Punk, yeah, I was listening to a podcast the other week where, like, you know, Nile Rodgers. Have you heard of him? So he's like one of the most influential like songwriters of all time, and he's the guy who wrote "Get Lucky" with Daft Punk. He's the guy who like plays guitar in the video, but he wrote with like David Bowie. You know. Forget. Chic, is it?
Le fric,
c'est chic. Yeah. What does that mean? Look, it's
money is
fancy.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of.
But yeah, so he wrote that song as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was listening to a podcast with him, and he was saying like Daft Punk are like just these crazy musicians, basically. But obviously because they're not like overtly like. You know, because you don't know their names or their faces. It's kind of they can be from anywhere, really.
Yeah, that's very interesting because, like, in the last album where there is Get Lucky, I mean, Get Lucky is a really good song.
Yeah.
But when you listen to all the songs, they're so like amazing, and Get Lucky is like maybe the worst of
of course.
Yeah.
Like, the thing is like
that's crazy.
I think like when it comes to like albums and like singles, it's like. I don't know, like a single isn't always a good thing, you know, like for example, like Jimmy World, I don't know if you're into Jimmy World, right?
Yeah.
You know, they've got so many banging tracks and they like are like famous for kind of like bringing like emo into the mainstream. But like everybody knows that, you know, the middle, it just takes some time, you know, and you can tell they hate the fact that they wrote that song, you know what I mean? Same with like Radiohead's Creep, same with like countless other bands. So I guess like for the success of an album you need a single, but for the kind of like flow of an album, sometimes a single can be a pain, you know what I mean? Yeah, 100%. Like, you know, if somebody said to me like, "Oh, I love the album," I always skip like a shadow. I get that. You know what I mean? Not that I'd agree, but like, it definitely is like a single. You know what I mean? And like, we tried our best. Same with Monochrome, in my opinion. Like, those are the two most like flat out like single tracks.
Yeah.
And we tried our best to make both those songs fit on the album without seeming like out of place or a bit much. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, because like a shadow, like after the show, back in November, everybody was so obsessed with this song. Literally, I saw like on Twitter, every of my French friends were like, "Oh my God, this song is in my head since the show," and it was amazing. Like, me too. I mean, really, and I think that like when you release your album, it was really important to just not pay too much attention to this song, but all of these songs which are.
of course, like for me, like I'd rather somebody not listen to anything and then listen to the album in full. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Like a storyline.
yeah, like a book. You know what I mean? Like so, yeah. But I mean, yeah. So I was saying this earlier. Like it's when we came to the As It Is show in November, we were like, oh God, you know, like everybody says Paris is like, or like France in general is like a pain in the butt, like because the drivers are all like crazy and like super expensive.
Yeah.
And we played Douai, or I don't know how to spell it, Douai.
Oh, okay, do it.
Do it.
Yeah.
And we played a place called like Nancy. Yeah, and like Douai is like really east and Nancy is really west. So we did those two shows, and we spent like 200 euros on tolls, and like we spent like 20 hours driving, and the shows were like, you know, all right kind of thing. But so when we played Paris last, we were like, you know, we crashed our van like getting to the venue after some crazy and then we played the show and it was like the best show of the tour pretty much. So like, and now we're super excited to come back to that. Hopefully it'll be one of the best. Yeah, dude, hell of a lot. You know, I mean, like language barrier is one thing. Like to be fair, obviously you're great at English. Like lots of German people, Dutch people, Belgian people, very good at English, and like it's kind of embarrassing how uncultured British people are when you think like you guys can just fluently speak another language, and in some cases European people can speak five languages. That's so impressive. So that doesn't always matter, but it kind of can sometimes. But I think it's just the way European people are really, because the cultures are so vastly different even though they're minutes apart from each other. So like, you know, like the difference between France and Germany on a map is like the difference between London and Manchester, you know, but some things won't go down well if you're in Germany, whereas in the UK it's like it kind of just slides no matter where you are. So it is tough, it's very different, but I think as a band we've always tried to just make it like the music speaks for us, so you know it shouldn't matter who we're playing to as long as the music is good and well performed. That's the sort of matter. Like, you know, I said this the other day, like, you know, it must be crazy living in London with like 6 shows a week, and then living in Paris maybe like in this kind of scene, maybe like one every week, maybe 2, you know what I mean? So, and like I totally understand that like that's quite a big thing. Like people always say, you know, when you play, you know, Germany is like when you mention Germany to British people, like it's like this crazy country because like there's so many cities you can kind of go to. I feel like in France we've only really like not a cracked of Paris, but like Paris is the only kind of city we've ever felt like yes, that was awesome. You know? Whereas in Germany it's just like the whole country is just mad, and people just say like, you know, Europeans in general are just very grateful that like you're here and playing for them. You know, so whereas in the UK you're spoiled for choice. So that is a very big thing.
See.
So obviously black and white has always been like the thing, you know, and I just felt like after like this was the 10th video we'd done, you know, so we were kind of like, we can't just keep doing the same thing over and over, but also we didn't want to change the aesthetic of the band for one video, so we kind of obviously started it in black and white, ended it in black and white, but the middle was all about colour and the kind of like using colour as like a metaphor in life for like to try and like fit into the narrative of this character who is kind of like depressed and like lost, you know, how like, you know, he was wearing white all the time, everybody else was wearing colour, and then everybody was trying to get him to incorporate colour into his life by like drinking it or covering him in it or whatever, you know, and then in the end like he kind of realised that maybe black and white is just where he belongs, you know, so that was kind of the narrative, we just felt like it was like a clever way to kind of use colour in our universe, like, so.
Yeah, because like everything is black and white. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's very interesting, actually, to know the story behind it.
This weather is crazy.
Yeah.
It was freezing 10 minutes ago. Yeah, we're working stuff at the moment. We really want to start writing album 2 now, like, because it takes so long to kind of get the wheels into motion. Like, oh man, you know, between like writing the album might take 6 months to, you know, however long. It depends how fast you work, really. Recording it can take months. You've got to get the artwork sorted, you've got to get the videos sorted, and then you've got to hype it for 3 months. You know what I mean? So like it'll take a while anyway. We kind of don't want to make people wait too long, you know.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of like priority right now, is to go home and write. We'll hopefully be touring soon. You know, we've just got to kind of get behind closed doors, get everything ready and like lined up, I guess. So yeah, the idea is to just be busy as possible and just write as much music as we can. It's different. I think one of the best things about the last record was there was no like one formula, you know, like some of the songs we wrote, some of the songs our old guitarist wrote on his own, some of the songs we wrote as a band, some of the songs we wrote with a producer, some of the songs I wrote on my own, like, so I think, and yeah, sometimes, you know, we'll spend months sitting there kind of like going over bits, and other times we'll write stuff in days. So I mean, I think a big part of our band is that there's no like one way of writing music, you know. Lyrics for me are quite a big part of the process. Like, I write lyrics constantly in like the background of my life, so I'll hear like somebody say a word, say somebody says a word and then I think it's a different word, and then I'll be like, oh, that's funny, that word rhymes with that word, and then I'll be like, how can I make a sentence out of that, you know, and then, you know, or I'll come up with a big chunky paragraph of lyrics. So like there's no, like, once again, there's no like one way of doing it, but normally I will write the lyrics and then try and work them into the song.
I think we're done.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.